Good morning, warriors. Fernando here, God's Prepared Warrior, and I am thankful for all of you who joined me last night at God's Prepared Warrior Roundtable Live. It was really, really awesome last night. We did it a whole different way, and it was fun to listen to you guys and answer your questions you had for me. I think we're going to do that again next Monday. So if you have questions for me and you want some answers, we'll do that again. I think that was pretty fun. So today I want to talk about out of sight, out of mind. For most people, out of sight, out of mind helps them to let go of stress. It helps them to ignore things that they don't want to deal with in life. But for us as preppers, that mindset can be dangerous. What do you mean? Well, let's look at a few things that I think that out of sight, out of mind could be dangerous for us as preppers, right? Number one, I think because we are preppers, right? We can gather things and then we can forget those things, right? So number one would be forgotten supplies, right? If you gather food, if you gather water, or if you gather gear, right, and you put it away and you don't regularly check it, you might discover that it's either expired, that it could have been damaged, or unusable when you need it the most, right? And I talk a lot about this when I say we need to practice with our preps. Practicing with our preps is, yes, getting the muscle memory for those things, but at the same time, we are checking those things to make sure that they're in proper working order, right? So, the mindset of, out of mind, out of sight, we can forget about the supplies that we've gathered, or they could be damaged. So that's why it's so important for us to make sure we're checking in on those things, right? Prepping takes time, right? The second one is important. It takes time, and it takes money, and it takes effort, right? It can be a wasted investment. If you forget what you've stored or where you stored it, right? That investment is kind of wasted. So, this out of sight, out of mind mindset can bring us to a point where we have a wasted investment if we don't ever pay attention to those things, right? The third thing is that it brings a false sense of security, right? Thinking that I've got plenty of supplies, right? Without even keeping them in mind can give you a false sense of readiness. So when disaster happens, or when disaster strikes, you may realize too late that you're not as prepared as you thought. You might not even have the things you need for that event that is happening, right? So therefore, it brings a false sense of security. Number 4, no practice, right? You get no practice when you have this out of mind, out of sight mentality, right? You get no practice with the equipment that you have. You don't rotate your food. You're gonna waste it because it will eventually not be at its freshest, right? So, when you have no practice, skills also go out of sight, out of mind. And if you don't revisit and practice them, you'll forget how to use your gear. You'll forget how to You'll forget about rotating your food. You'll forget all of that stuff, right? Or you'll handle certain situations differently, right? So what's the solution to that mindset? I think it's important for us as preppers to keep an inventory list, to rotate supplies, and to schedule regular checks. I think that you should take time within the month, right, to schedule these checks and to keep your prepping in sight and in mind so that you stay truly ready. So guys, happy Tuesday, and I hope that this has made you think about the importance of keeping everything that we do as preppers in sight and in mind, so that we know where everything is, we know how to use them, we know that everything is in working order, and in the event of a crisis, of any kind of SHTF situation in our life, we're able to respond calmly because we're trusting in the Lord, right? And we're prepping not out of fear, but out of faith. So guys, have a great Tuesday today, and hope to see you tomorrow on the next video. Have a great day. God bless.